ಬೇಕಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ATM ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇಕಿಲ್ಲ ಇಂದ. Okay, good morning students, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Okay, I guess we are meeting after a long time. Fine. So I guess Ullas sir have started network layer chapter, and he might have told you the importance of network layer chapter already in the introduction part, that is in 4.1. So we'll start with 4.2, that is virtual circuits and datagram networks today. Before getting into the concept of virtual circuits and datagram networks, I have to give you some important information about this. See, in the transport layer, we have seen two type of communication, right? Basically, two protocols are there, TCP and UDP. So you can broadly like categorize them. Like one is reliable and other one is unreliable protocol. That means reliable in the sense there will be a connection establishment phase. After the connection establishment, you are going to transfer the packets. Then in UDP, what happens? There is no connection establishment. You will directly send the packets without any establishment of the connection. Okay. So here also in the network layer, basically network layer is unreliable communication. Okay, that means the protocols which are working under network layer will try to give you best effort service, but not a reliable service. You should know the difference between best effort and not reliable. Okay, so basically virtual circuit is something where your protocols are, it's a kind of communication where you have reliable service. Is that clear? Virtual circuit is kind of similar to your TCP in transport layer. Datagram network is kind of similar to your communication, similar to your UDP in transport layer. Am I clear, students? Just a second. Okay. Am I clear, students, the difference between virtual circuit and datagram network? Virtual circuit is similar to your TCP, which gives you reliable service, whereas datagram network is similar to your UDP, which is a not reliable service, but it gives you best effort service. Am I clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So with this knowledge, we will go ahead and see how virtual circuit works. Okay, what is connection and connectionless service? We already know it, but let me go through this. Datagram network provides network layer connectionless service. Okay, network layer connectionless service, datagram. Whereas virtual circuit network provides network layer connection service. Is that clear? Virtual circuit network provides network layer connection service. That's the difference, which I already told you. Similar to TCP and UDP, connection oriented and connectionless transport. Okay, so what are the services? Host to host connectivity. Network provides one or the other. So implementation in network core. So you just have to know what is virtual and what is datagram network. Okay. So what are virtual circuits? Excuse me. So virtual circuits are basically a network where source to destination path behaves much like a telephone circuit. Okay, that means you have reserved all the resources between source and destination. Virtual circuits works in that way. Source to destination path behaves much like a telephone circuits with respect to performance wise. Okay, network actions along source to destination path. So you have call setup phase, tear down for for each call before the data can flow. Is that clear? You have a network setup and tear down for each call before the data can flow. That means before you start your communication, you need to have a call setup phase, and once the connection is done, you need to have a tear down phase also, similar to your TCP. So each packet carries VC identifier. Please keep this in mind, students. It is very important. Each packet carries VC identifier. So VC is virtual circuit identifier. It's just a number. Okay, so every packet for that particular link carries a VC identifier which may change for each link. We will see that later. Every router on source destination path maintains state of each passing connection. So every router, that means say for example source to destination you have say 5 routers in between. So every router will maintain the state information of each passing connection. Is that clear? Every packet's connection information will be maintained by the router in virtual circuits. Whatever I am speaking now is only with respect to virtual circuits, students, not with respect to datagram circuits or datagrams. Keep that in mind. Link router resources, that is bandwidth or buffer space, may be allocated to VC. Is that clear? So link and router resources may be allocated to VC. That's what I told you. The resources are allocated for a virtual circuit network before you start your communication. So that's the basic concepts of VC. So let us go in depth about the implementation of VC. A virtual circuit consists of a path from source to destination, a VC number, one number for each link along the path. That's what I told you, students. Virtual circuit number changes from one link to another link. Say for example, from source to destination, you have 10 links. There will be 10 different virtual circuit numbers. Virtual circuit for first link will be different. Virtual circuit for the second link will be different. So you can ask a question, who creates these virtual circuit numbers? The routers in between creates the virtual circuit numbers. Okay, links, who is going to separate the links? Basically the routers in a communication. Along the path there might be multiple routers and multiple links. So for each link a new virtual circuit number will be generated, and that generated numbers will be stored in a table, virtual circuit table, for easy maintenance. Okay, entries in forwarding table in routers along the path. That's what I told you. A table, basically it's a forwarding table. So that will have the entries of all these VC numbers in routers along the path. Is that clear? It will be in router, not only in the sender and receiver. It will be in the routers also, intermediate routers. Okay, packet belonging to VC carries VC number. It's a repetition. I've already told you that. Rather than destination address. Keep that in mind, students. Packets belonging to VC, that means any packet which is working with a virtual circuit carries a VC number rather than a destination address. Very important. VC number can be changed on each link. A new VC number comes from forwarding table. Where will be the forwarding table located? It will be in the router. Is it clear, students, about the basic concepts of virtual circuits? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Sir, so the packet, by the time it reaches its destination, it will have multiple VC numbers depending on the route as it passed through. No,
It will not have multiple VC numbers, because VC numbers changes in every link. It will have only the last link VC number when it reaches the destination.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, students. I'll just add one point. What you asked is correct. VC number will keep changing. So if somebody asks you, like in the interview and all, where this comes in actual implementation, or where does it come in picture, you can say that if you are using layer 2 protocol like HDLC or frame relay. Frame relay is one which is existing in industry now, which people are using still. If you are configuring frame relay protocol, it is handled by using virtual circuit numbers. Okay, instead of routing table, it will be the virtual circuit table will be maintained, which you will be seeing in this slide actually. So the VC forwarding table looks like this. You can see the picture. You can see the top diagram. There are 3 links associated with the first router, which is there in the picture. So you can see interface 1 is mapped with the virtual circuit number as 12. The outgoing interface is marked with virtual circuit number as 22. And from the next router it is 32. So now you look at the table. The incoming interface is, if it is 1, the incoming virtual circuit number, if it is 12, it will be routed through outgoing interface 3 with the outgoing virtual circuit number as 22. Okay, that mapping is done in that particular router. And you can see there is one more entry for the interface one. If the incoming virtual circuit number is 97, it has to go via interface number 3 with the virtual circuit number 87. Okay, so that will be mentioned for all interfaces. Don't get confused here. Hope it is pretty clear. All of you spend a minute or so to look into the table and understand it.
Sir, having a packet or a data packet, can we have its previous VC numbers? Is it possible, sir?
No,
Okay.
it won't, because it will periodically erase in the table, and the new packets virtual circuit numbers will be keep on adding.
Okay.
For some time it will be available, but the state will not be available throughout. Okay, it's not possible. So what are the different signaling protocols in virtual circuits? First of all, what are signaling protocols? They are used to set up, maintain, and tear down a virtual circuit. Okay, so we are not going in depth towards the signaling protocols. So it's a layer 2 protocol basically, and who uses it? As Ullas sir said, you can see used in ATM, frame relay, X.25. All these are the different types of networks which uses this virtual circuits. Okay. So ATM, frame relay, X.25 all are layer 2 protocols. So these uses virtual circuits. Okay, so as you see the third point, it is not used in today's internet, but still some organizations are using frame relay nowadays. ATM and X.25 are not in use, whereas frame relay is still in use. For some organizations use frame relay, but frame relay uses virtual circuits basically, and those use signaling protocols for virtual circuit setup to maintain and to tear down. We are not going in depth towards signaling protocols and how it works in this concept. Okay, you just have to know this. So for example, you can see in the diagram, the one system is initiating the call. Now circuit is established between source and destination, and all the packets will move through that circuits only. Whereas in normal datagram network, the packets can follow any other route. You can see there are 3 different routes to reach the destination from source. But here all the packets will flow through only this particular circuit. Okay, that's about VC students. Any question regarding VC? We are moving on to the datagram networks now.
So what are the layer 2 protocols in wide area network if you are using virtual circuit to send and receive data? Vishnu, A section, can you answer? Vishnu, are you present? Vikas?
So nobody is listening.
Ashwin KM? Ashwin KM? Dinesh Chowdhury? Looks like nobody is present in the class.
Sir, can I answer, sir?
No, wait, Priya. You want to give chance for others too. I know that you are present. CH Manasa, Sai Madhuri, Ritesh Reddy, Dharmateja,
See, students, for the name's sake, if you are attending the class, if you are not listening, there is no point in attending.
see, there are your senior batch students who attended the class effectively. They got placed into networking companies without any certifications. Okay, that too tier 1 companies. So please do make use of our class. Okay, Priya, please answer.
The protocols used in layer 2, sir just mentioned that they are like ATM chain relay extra 25.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so let me continue with the datagram network, students. So after virtual circuits, which is a kind of connection oriented and similar to TCP, we will go ahead with a datagram network, which is similar to your UDP. It's not a reliable protocol, but it gives a best effort service. So there is no call setup at the network layer. Routers will not store any state information or end-to-end connection information. No network layer concept of connection. Packets forwarded using destination host address, not with respect to VC numbers. Okay, there are no VC number concept here. You can see in the diagram, the packets moving from source to destination. Okay, you can see the packets moving from source to destination. So basically here, these packets can go through any route. So this is one route for the destination. This is another route, the middle one. And the last one is another route. You can see the packets are distributed among different routes. Okay. So it's not like it is going to travel in only one route for which the circuit is booked or reserved. Okay. So this is one advantage with datagram network. Reason is, if you are choosing virtual circuit and all the packets go through one particular link, it may add on delays. Okay, so basically, why it will add on delay? Can anyone tell me? Yes.
Maybe because initially it has to set up like the connection also. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, that is one delay where you are adding up. There is, if you don't use, see here, we call it as uh, load sharing. Okay, the whole load is shared among 3 different routes, whereas in virtual circuit, the load sharing is not going to happen, or load distribution is not going to happen. So what happens when there is no load distribution?
There may be a chance of more packets going into one route.
That's what I'm asking. It's not the chance. That is what happens in virtual circuit.
No, sir. Can you repeat the question? I didn't get it clearly.
Here, the packets are going through multiple routes to the destination, and in virtual circuit, packets are following only one route to the destination. What is the difference? Which is better? Is my question clear to you?
So traffic can happen
Virtual
in virtual circuit, but here
Yeah, tell me.
PC is better, sir. Like here, there is no particular order in which it will go, so the 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 receiving order will not be the same as it when it is sending the data.
But there
So that
are technologies where in the application layer and also in the transport layer to track the order and give the data to the application in an order. Okay, that option is there. If you are using UDP, application layer have that option. If you are using TCP, TCP itself have that option. No. Anyway, both have their its own advantages and disadvantages. But with respect to speed, datagram network is a way ahead in speed compared to your virtual circuit. Okay. Reason is because one is there is no connection setup phase. The other one is it is load sharing or load distribution.
sir,
Yeah.
so we had three protocols now, sir. ATM, frame relays, and X25.
Yeah.
Why it is called as layer 2 protocol, sir?
Because that they are used in a particular network in layer 2. Layer 2 is data link layer, not we are not speaking about the transport layer. Layer 2 is data link layer from the bottom. They are wide
So,
area network protocols.
sir, we have not yet reached data link.
No, we have
layer.
not yet reached. You will understand that when we reach data link layer. Don't worry.
Okay,
Just
sir.
as of now, you keep in mind these are layer 2 networks.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so then how you can have a question like if you are using virtual circuit, it have a forwarding table in it in every router. Similarly, in datagram also there will be forwarding table in every router. So how the packets are forwarded here, you can see here datagram forwarding table. So in a particular router, so a routing algorithm will be running. Routing algorithms, there are a lot of routing algorithms which we are going to study in this chapter itself, like RIP, OSPF, EIGRP, BGP. We are going to study about those routing protocols layer. Every routing protocol, once it starts working, it creates a routing table, or it can be called as forwarding table also. So what happens when a packet reaches here, to which exit port that packet has to be put into? Is that clear? Because you can see here, the initial router have three different exit interfaces, that is 1, 2 and 3. The packet might have come through interface 0. Forget about this, because the packet from where it has come, it's not going back through the same interface. It has to go through either 1, 2 or 3. So who will decide that the destination for that packet will be available if I pass through that packet through this destination? Okay, that is very important. So there are three different interfaces: interface 1, interface 2 and interface 3. Okay, so now let me take the pointer so that so you can see here the packet has come through here. You have three interfaces, 1, 2 and 3, to which interface, exit interface, that packet has to be forwarded. That will be taken care by forwarding table. So there will be range of addresses. Say for example, if the packet destination address falls between 192.168.0.02, 192.168.20.255, any if the destination IP address is anything between this range, just put the packet in this interface. Is that clear? That's what you say here. You see here address range 1, put it into interface 3, address range 2, put it into interface 2, address range 3 again, put it into interface 2. It happens like that. Is that clear, students? So 4 billion IP addresses. So rather than list individual destination addresses, list range of addresses. Is that clear? Because you cannot individually assign. Say for example, port 1, if you pass the packet to port 1, these are the IP addresses available. If you keep on doing that, the space is not sufficient in the router because you have 4 billion IPv4 addresses. Okay, so you have to put a range there. That's how the communication between source to destination in the network layer works. Is it clear, students? And there will be a default route also. What do you mean by default route? If the destination packets range doesn't fall into any of this, there will be a default route. Then that packet will go to the default route, and when it reaches the next router, there might be a match in the next router. Is that clear? Every router will have a default route. Am I clear, students, about the datagram forwarding table?
Sir, will
Yes,
there be
sir.
a similar code or similar route followed, like the common forwarding table followed in all the routers?
We will get back to it. You have asked a very good question. Basically, whole internet is divided into different areas. Okay, there is a name for every area. Is that clear, students? So basically, in a particular area, how many routers are there? Those routers should have the same format. That's how it works. When you are going from one area to another area, then the routers or the forwarding table, calculation of the forwarding table or the looks of the forwarding table may change, but there is a compatibility there. Is that clear? But in a particular area, when you are working with communication, so the routers will have similar routing algorithm and also similar routing table or forwarding table. Is that clear? Am I clear to you, students? Did I answer your question? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes. Any other question, Priya?
No, sir, no, sir. So basically, for every area, there will be an algorithm, forwarding algorithm.
Routing algorithm. We call it as routing algorithm. Every router
Yes,
will
sir.
run a routing algorithm in it.
Okay.
For a particular area, that routing algorithm, every router should use the same routing algorithm. We'll come into that. We are going to study in depth towards that in the upcoming slides.
Okay.
Okay. You can see the forwarding table matching how it happens. Destination address range. So this, what is this, students? Can anyone tell me what is the IP address? It is given in binary. Can you quickly convert into its decimal representation and let me know? So quickly, how to convert it? It is 128. 128 plus 64, it is 192. 192 plus 32 is 0, 16, 200. It is 200 dot, what is this now? Two hundred dot 23 dot 16 dot 0. Am I right? 200.23.16.0. Let me know whether I am right or wrong.
Right only, sir.
200.23.16.02. 200.23 dot, what is this? 16 plus 4 plus 200.23.23.255. Am I right? So if the IP address destination IP address falls in between this range 200.23.16.0 to 200.23.23.255, then don't worry at all, put the packet into link interface 0. Is that clear? Similarly, another range, then another range. Then if the packet doesn't fall into any of this range, just put the packet into interface 3. That is basically a default interface. Is that clear? That's what the otherwise mean here. Am I clear, students?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what happens if the range doesn't divide up so nicely? Here it is divided clearly, properly it is divided. So if it doesn't divide up so nicely, what happens? You have to go for a longest prefix match. That's all. When looking for a forwarding table entry for given destination address, use longest address prefix that matches the destination address. Is that clear? So you can see here destination address is this is 200.23.16.0 to, you can see here the second destination longest prefix match you have to check. That's all. Okay, so that's about the datagram. So datagram or VC network, why? Okay, data exchanges among computers. If you are going for datagram, data exchange among computers, elastic service, no strict timing requirements. Okay, you already know what is elastic services. If you are going for datagram network, there is no requirement for a specific bandwidth. Okay, and there is no strict timing requirements also. So this, if you are going for VC, obviously it is a kind of telephone network. There is basic or at a minimum bandwidth requirement there, and it is strict on timings also. So evolved from telephony, basically virtual circuits or ATM network. So in datagram, many link types, so different characteristics, uniform service is difficult with respect to datagram, because packets may follow different routes. I already told you that. So in ATM, what happens? Yes, strict timing, reliability requirements is needed. Need for guaranteed service also. So these are the major differences which I already told you. So just go through these differences, students. I'll give you a minute time. Okay. So the next concept is what's inside a router.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
So can you explain that one? Like, can you go back to the before slide?
Yeah,
Can you
yeah.
explain that terms, the complex inside networking, complexity at edge, sir?
See, simple inside network, complexity at the edge, in the sense when the route when it as a whole thing, if you see, generally initially you don't have any problem in the datagram network, because just a second. Because here you can. Okay, so simple inside network, complexity at the edge, in the sense, basically if you compare the datagram and virtual circuit, in the virtual circuit initially you will feel complex because you have to set up a connection establishment, you have to clearly define the VC numbers. So basically from outside it looks difficult, but when you get in, it is simple, because outside you have done all the hard work already. Whereas in datagram network, what happens, once you get in, it's quite complex, because you don't think about the connection establishment or anything. You will just send the packet, but once you get into the network, there are routing algorithms which who has to take care of it. You have to match the prefix, then you have to send it to a particular exit interface, all those things, complexities are involved. So that's why it is basically simple inside network, complexity at edge, whereas in in virtual circuit, complexity inside network. Okay, so it is quite ambiguous. Don't worry much about this. Am I clear?
Got it, sir.
Okay. So the next topic is what's inside a router. Okay, so generally this is a self-study topic. What's inside a router 4.3. So you have to go through this topic because there is nothing much concepts which we have to discuss in this. It is just technical things which you need to go through, like how routers will work, how the buffer spaces are available in the router, what is the components that's used inside a router. All those things are there in 4.3, which is not a very big topic. Okay, that you have to go through. Next thing is IP, that is internet protocol. We will discuss that in the next class. Am I clear, students? What's inside a router is a self-study topic. You have to go through that. Don't think that you don't get any questions since it is not yet not discussed in the class. It is a self-study topic. That means you have to study it. You may get questions from that topic also. Clear, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine then. You can leave.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.